guys, it's Jen from Jen's Extraordinary Life, and today we are talking all things Thanksgiving. So I've got some great dishes for you, but before I get started, I wanted you to know that this is a collab that I did with my sister Natalie from All the Things. If you have not visited her page yet, you want to. So I'm gonna link her page down in the description, and she's gonna have some videos in this playlist as well, but she does all kind of things, guys. I probably am her biggest fan, I'm not gonna lie, but you will be too when you go see what she's up to. And she literally does all the things, which means she has the perfect name for her channel, right? So go show her some love. But we are going to make 3 things for Thanksgiving today: an appetizer, a side dish, and a dessert. So for the appetizer, we're gonna make some sweet potato bites. They're so yummy, delicious. I'll pop a picture up here to show you what they're gonna look like, but we'll get into that in a minute. We're going to make some veg-all casserole, which is a make-ahead meal that you can put in the freezer and then take out and not have to spend all day long in the kitchen on Thanksgiving. You can just pop that out of the freezer and then cook it. And then we're going to make a yummy salted caramel pecan cheesecake dip that you can dip apples or cookies or pretzels or whatever into. A super easy dip for Thanksgiving, and it's very fall-ish. So I hope you'll stick around for all of this and help us cook in my make-believe cooking show. Thanks for joining us. Let's get started. Okay, so first we're going to make a delicious appetizer that is just so suited for Thanksgiving. We are making mini sweet potato bites with marshmallows and pecans. So in lieu of making a sweet potato casserole, this is a delicious appetizer to get everybody started and everybody in the mood for all the Thanksgiving foods. All right, so easy peasy to make. First, you want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees. I have already done that. And then you are going to grease a baking sheet. I also put a piece of parchment paper on mine. You don't have to, but I put parchment paper on and greased it because I just don't like a mess. You're going to need sweet potatoes. The actual recipe calls for about 3 to 4 medium-sized sweet potatoes. I'm doing some little tiny sweet potatoes today because I'm only going to make a partial order of this recipe. You need some melted butter, about half a stick of melted butter. Again, I'm doing a little bit less today just because of the amount I'm making. You're gonna need some maple syrup, pure maple syrup, salt, some pecan halves, and some regular sized, the big marshmallows. So that's all you need. Easy peasy for this. So I went ahead and peeled my sweet potatoes for this, but all you're going to do is cut them after you have peeled them into why are sweet potatoes so hard to cut through? So you want to make them about, I don't know, half an inch thick or so, even rounds, and just put them on your baking sheet. And these are not the most symmetrical sweet potatoes. I didn't have time to go in the store this week, so I did a grocery pickup, and I'm kind of regretting that because when it comes to sweet potatoes, I really like to pick them out and get them, you know, I don't know, where they look pretty. Is that a thing for a sweet potato? They're so wonky looking all the time. I don't know. Anyway, so my recommendation would be go in the store and pick out some pretty sweet potatoes that are about the same size, and go from there. All right, so you're just gonna line them all on your sheet, and then you're gonna take your melted butter and you're just gonna drizzle it over each one. You just want to make sure that they're coated in the butter. go crazy. That's probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt that I grabbed. All right, I used it all. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do for there. And I'm gonna pop this in the oven for about 20 minutes, and we're gonna flip them over, put them back in for another 20 minutes until they are fork tender. Let me get these in the oven real quick. Okay, so I have pulled the sweet potatoes out of the oven, and then I changed my oven to broil. And I'm just gonna take this maple syrup. The sweet potatoes are fork tender at this point. Now, you probably wanna take about 2 tablespoons of this maple syrup, but again, I've probably got about barely a tablespoon there. I'm gonna flip them over and make sure that they're coated. Let's be real, you can just measure with your heart on these as well. All right, I do spread them out a little bit because I'm about to top them with marshmallows and pecans, and I'm gonna show you a trick. Also, yes, I say pecan. You might say pecan. You might say pecan. I don't know what you might say, but I say pecans, but we all know what we're talking about. All right, you take the big marshmallows. I'm gonna take my kitchen scissors and cut those bad boys in half. Pop them on top. Woo! These are gonna be so cute and so yummy. All right, it's on broil, so I'm gonna pop these in the oven really quickly. Let me check those marshmallows. They're starting to fluff up. I'm excited about it. They're so cute. I'm gonna turn the light on in the oven because I wanna watch this. I'm bringing you with me. They're starting to like fluff up. So we're gonna let those cook just a little bit longer on broil until the tops start to turn brown. Let me open the door and show you. See, they're not quite browning yet, but they're thinking about it. All right, so we're gonna give that a little bit more time, and then we'll be back. I'm watching them because I don't want them to burn, but they're so cute. So when we pull those out, we are going to immediately stick our pecan halves on top of them. I want them to be done because I'm ready to have them. Let me check again. So close. How cute are those? All right, so we're gonna take, see, they're just toasty enough. We're gonna take our pecans and just, see, we lost this one. You know what, I'm gonna scoop his little marshmallow on top. All right, maybe not. I've already broken the pecan. Let me get these taken care of. We're just gonna take our pecans, put them right in the top of this. If you have any marshmallows that tried to escape, like these, just scoop them back up on there. All right, I'm gonna scoop this little piece of marshmallow up on this guy. And sadly, I'm just gonna have to eat him because, oh, he's got some caramelized maple syrup. Here's another little baby one. Here's a little half of a piece of pecan. We'll just give that to him. I'll just eat those two. And we'll serve these. All right, so aren't they cute? And you would just then pop these on a plate. Let me just put them on a plate and show you. I found my little Thanksgiving tray, and this is gonna be the perfect size for these. I mean, how cute is that for a little appetizer? So festive. I just love them. All right, so I hope you give that a try. Now this is a make-ahead casserole. So I don't like to spend all of Thanksgiving Day in the kitchen. I want to spend it with my family. So this is something that I'm going to go ahead and make today, put in my freezer, and then I'm gonna pull it out of the freezer about 20 minutes before I am ready to pop it in the oven. And then that'll give it a little bit of time to thaw, and then I'll pop it in the oven and cook it. So I'm gonna put the recipe in the description, but I'm probably gonna stray a little bit from the recipe because I'm going to make it the way my Grandma Ruth made it, and it is a little bit different. I did go to the veg-all website, and I don't think I mentioned, this is a veg-all casserole. I probably should have told you that. I did go to the veg-all website to get the actual recipe, and they left some things out of the recipe. So maybe my grandma just added some things. I don't know, but the way she did it was good, so we're doing it the way she did it. You can do it their way or you can do it my way. Doesn't matter to me. But we're gonna mix all of this up in the same pan that we're gonna bake it in. And one thing that I want to say is that I'm gonna put this in one of these aluminum pans. You can bake this in a regular glass or whatever kind of casserole dish that you would take to someone's house or use at your own home, but I'm putting it in here because we're actually going to be spending Thanksgiving somewhere else this year, and I don't want to have to keep up with dishes and all the things like that, and I am just going to make this in here for ease of cleanup. Here's what you're going to need. Veg-all. You need 2 cans of veg-all, and I'm just going to dump them in as I tell you what you need. So you want those drained. I've got 2 cans of veg-all. You're going to need, okay, this is where the recipe strays. 2 cans of water chestnuts drained. These are not in the recipe now. If you go to the website, I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is with that, but they were my favorite part of this recipe growing up. So I'm definitely not going without them. 1 can of cream of chicken. Try not to drop it in the container like I did. See if we can get it to actually come out. There it goes. Okay. That's all the cream of chicken. 1 cup of mayonnaise. Listen, y'all, Duke's is the way to go. If you don't have Duke's near you, I'm sorry. I have lived in places where they did not sell Duke's, and the struggle is real. I understand. But if you do have Duke's available for you where you are, please use Duke's. Because guess what? It's real mayonnaise. It even says it on the jar. Y'all haters, don't come at me with the Hellmann's and all that. All right, so a cup of Duke's. And then it says 1 small onion. Y'all know I like to just that's about 1 package equals 2 medium onions, and I had about 1/3 of a package left, so that's about 1 small onion. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this around right in the pan. You don't need to grease this pan or anything. Just gonna get it good and mixed. I'm actually gonna move this over a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Now, it does not say anything about salt and pepper in the recipe, but I don't know how you can have vegetables without salt and pepper, so we're gonna add that. You're also not quite finished because there are 2 more ingredients that are the most important ingredients, but that's mixed up. So let me add some salt and pepper, and then we'll get those other last two ingredients. I just add about 2 pinches of salt to that, and the same with pepper. 2 pinches of pepper. That'll get all mixed up again in a second. And then cheddar cheese. Okay, cannot have a good Thanksgiving recipe without cheddar cheese. So I am going to take my box grater and shred this. It says you need about a cup's worth. Who measures when it comes to cheese? You measure with your heart. If you want to get out a measuring thing and measure your cheddar, you go right ahead. But in this house, we're going to just measure with our heart. Now, you could buy the already shredded, I think it's the 8-ounce bag is a cup of cheddar. Maybe wondering why I do not have my cheese grater standing up. Well, it's because I feel like if we grate it in here, then we can just turn it on its side and put it in. Let's see how much that is. It's probably a cup, but in this house, we like cheese. We're gonna put a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up so that that cheese is mixed in, the salt and pepper gets mixed in. And then we will put the last ingredient on this. Now, you may be saying, Jennifer, I'm not a vegetable fan. I've never had veg-all. Reminds me of mixed vegetables in the cafeteria when I was growing up at school, where the lunch lady scoop them out and say, vegetables. Yeah, I feel you. I really do. I hear what you're saying. I understand. And I can relate, but I am here to tell you that you're going to like this casserole. Either way. I don't know why. I don't know what's so special about it. I try not to think about mixed veggies, like school mixed veggies, because that makes it seem like it's not going to be as good for some reason, but it is. I promise. You're going to like it. All right, let me put this away. And here is the last ingredient. How can you go wrong with Ritz? We're not talking, you know, even Eddie Murphy liked Ritz crackers. I remember. Okay. I don't want to miss those last few pieces of cheese. So here's what you do with the Ritz. It says 36 crackers. So I counted these little fresh stacked sleeves, and there happens to be 13 crackers in each, which is a little more than 36. It's actually 39. That's okay. We're going with it. We're going to use 3 of these fresh stacks, tubes, and you're supposed to crush them up. So I'm sticking them in this Ziploc bag. Make sure you close it, because otherwise you're going to have a hot mess on your hands. Get the air out so that you can either crush this with your hands, or I have a rolling pin. I'm going to beat them up a little bit first and then roll them. till I get them nice and crunchy, nice and crushed up. Nice and crushed up. That's what I'm looking for. You want small little pieces, which really, it looks really good to me. But I'm gonna roll it over and just make sure the other side of this bag got crushed up too. And it did not, see? That's why we do that. Okay, so now it looks pretty crushed up. Now I looked in the picture and they were not this crushed up in the picture on the veg-all site. But I'm telling you, my grandma used to crush them up. And remember what I said, we're not doing this the veg-all way, we're doing this Grandma Ruth's way. Let me move this over so you can see. I feel like she might have used more than 36 crackers too. Maybe not. Let's see what happens here. I've never counted the crackers before, I just have made it. This is one of those recipes, that's perfect. This is one of those things where, you know, you just have made it forever and you just know how to do it. Okay, that's it. That's all you have to do, people. And I promise you, even the people that say they don't want to eat vegetables are going to eat this. Now, what I'm going to do here, because I'm putting this in the freezer, I'm going to take a piece of wax or parchment paper. I'm not sure if I have wax paper, but if I do, I'm going to use wax paper. If not, I'm going to take parchment paper and I'm going to lay it down touching the casserole. That's going to keep any condensation or frost or whatever from actually getting in there on it. So I'm going to lay that down on there and then I'm going to cover the whole thing with tin foil, aluminum foil. Let's get it right. Aluminum foil, Jennifer. So I'm going to cover it all with aluminum foil and then I'm going to put it in the freezer. And then again, I will pop that out of the oven out of the freezer about 20 minutes to thaw before I'm ready to put it in the oven. This is a super yummy casserole that probably nobody else is going to make because it's not it's not green bean casserole or the popular things that everybody makes, sweet potato casserole and all the things. So you will have something unique and different, and it's probably going to be something that turns into one of those family staples for Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and all the things where your family's like, are you making the veg-all casserole? Because I'm telling you, that's what happened in our family. All right, let's get started on this yummy dessert. So we're going to make some salted caramel pecan cheesecake dip. So y'all know I love my KitchenAid stand mixer, so you can totally do this with a hand mixer or try to do it by hand. I wouldn't recommend that. But we're going to use my stand mixer for this. So you're going to need 8 ounces of cream cheese softened. Now, I'm going to tell you a trick with the cream cheese. If you didn't have time to soften it, while you're getting your ingredients out, you just take that block of cream cheese, put that bad boy right under your arm, and let it be melting in the package, of course. So there's your tip of the day. We're going to take that 8-ounce block of cream cheese. Man, I could just eat that right off the block, but I won't. I won't, but I could. All right, so 8 ounces of cream cheese. You need a half of a cup of powdered sugar. And then you're going to need one of the small 7-ounce jars of marshmallow cream. And I had a spatula. What did I do with it? Here it is. This is real life. Make-believe kitchen cooking show. All right, so 1 mini jar of marshmallow fluff. I feel like this time of year, I just have to keep marshmallow fluff in the pantry because all the recipes have it in there. Either that or Cool Whip. Cool Whip's always in all the yummy recipes. You probably could use Cool Whip in this, now that I think about it, but we're using marshmallow fluff because that's how I learned how to make this. All right, then you're gonna take 2 tablespoons of the dulce de leche, which is your caramel that is made with milk. You could probably use other caramel, like the ice cream topping caramel if you wanted to, but I just find that this is the best for this particular recipe, and lots of recipes. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's my favorite. All right, so 2 tablespoons of that. Ish. You may get a little bit more than 2 tablespoons. Put it in here. Get all of that yummy caramel out of my spoon. And then we're gonna mix that up with the stand mixer. And I'm starting it on low because I don't want that powdered sugar to jump out at me. Once it gets a little bit incorporated, I'm going to go ahead and turn it up. All right, I'm going to just scrape my beater and the sides real quick and then give it one more quick little stir. Stir. So there's that. And then you are going to then take the rest of your ingredients, which is more of this yummy caramel. About another 2 tablespoons worth of this. See if I can get it out. Okay, there's one. I'll get a spoon to get this out a little bit easier. Actually, a knife. I think I'll use that. So you're just gonna, this is gonna be the topping. So you want a couple more tablespoons of this caramel. And listen, it doesn't have to be exact when it comes to this because, I mean, we can measure with our heart. All right. So there's a couple tablespoons in there, and then you're just going to use a little bit of milk. So I would say 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of milk. I'm going to put not quite a whole teaspoon. Got a little carried away there. So that's probably 3/4 of a teaspoon. You don't need a lot of milk, like just really a splash. I should say just a splash. So you're gonna put that in. I probably could have used a smaller cup, but I like to mix it first before I pop it in the microwave just to kind of get it incorporated. All you're gonna do is just melt this a little bit just to get it mixed up good. So I'm gonna pop that in the microwave for just a few seconds to warm it up. I think that was maybe 8 to 10 seconds. I had it in there. Gosh, it's perfect. All right. Then you are going to take your bowl, your serving bowl, because I want you to be able to see the pecans and the caramel and everything on the top. All right, so the dip is in there, and you want to kind of, spread it evenly in your bowl. to kind of swirl it and make it look pretty. Really want to lick that spoon, but I'm not going to. All right, then you're going to take about half a cup, maybe not quite, of pecans. Sprinkle those on the top. Spread it around. The last step, you're just going to take your caramel and drizzle this over it. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. And then I like to take a little bit of sea salt. You could get, this is a sea salt grinder, but you could get like salt flakes. I didn't have any, so we're using that. And then you are just gonna serve this up with like some pretzels. That's good. That's really good. You serve this up with pretzels, some golden Oreos, some apple slices, you know, whatever cookies you want to serve that up with. But that makes a yummy dip for dessert. It was super easy to make, not a lot of ingredients. You can whip it up and then keep it in the fridge until you're ready to serve it. And remember to go check my link in the playlist for my sister's videos as well, because she's posted several Thanksgiving dishes that you're gonna want. And again, that's all the things. And my sister Natalie's on that, and you're gonna love her so much. If you like this kind of stuff, I hope you'll stick around. I hope you'll come back for more stuff. And I do more than just cook, so you'll want to check out some of my other playlists as well. But the best thing you could do for me is click that little subscribe button and then go turn on your notifications. And then that way when I post something new, you'll be able to see it and you'll know what's going on. But until the next time, we hope that you have an extraordinary life. Bye-bye.